Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is virtually 9 o'clock Eastern Time, and Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock, I do Karthik, how are you? I do a daily business scope, and if you will just wait just a second, let me populate this link through Facebook, through LinkedIn. We will get going on this. I hope y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful morning. Alan, how are you? Nice to see you again. Let me get this open, copy link location, and let's pop this in Facebook. I am doing very well. Join me on my daily business scope, the attitude of, well, let's capitalize that. Lone Star, how are you doing? The attitude of gratitude. It's no Wired Girl. How are you? I'm looking at these two words, attitude and gratitude, and thinking it's no wonder that so many people, including me, failed spelling because attitude has two T's, gratitude has one T, and they rhyme. So, Greg Pat, how are you? The attitude of gratitude. We're going to explore the whole idea of gratitude and what it can do for you. And this may sound like, Sunday school or something, but it's some very, very, very powerful stuff. Let's copy that. And this is the kind of stuff that can, not that slowly, but consistently used, transform your business life and, for that matter, your relationships with people and all kinds of cool stuff. But hang on a second, let's get this in LinkedIn. Very cool. The attitude of gratitude. Marclosi. How are you today? Let me scoot my chair around here, get comfortable. I need some kind of glasses where I can see the names on the phone. I'm resisting reading glasses. But anyway, if you love this content, please heart it up. I'm trying to get up to 5,000 hearts. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lee Cole. I have been an online entrepreneur. Oh, you're from Barcelona. Yes, and I've got an online friend who lives in Barcelona. Ms. Redbone 404. Thank you for being on the show. So, I've been an online entrepreneur for 5 years. I used to be a high school mathematics teacher. I quit that. I built and sold websites for about 3 years while I was a math teacher just to make extra money and learned a ton of stuff. Realized I had, Alan says, did I have something go wrong on my scope the other day? Lost me toward the end. Yes, I did. I'm not sure what it was. It was some sort of thing that just cut the scope off. So I just, it's live streaming, man. I just roll with it. McDam11, nice to meet you. Thank you for joining the show. So, yeah, I've been an online entrepreneur now for 5 years full time. I make a nice living doing this. I'm the sole supporter of my family. And so I'm the real deal. And what I do is two things. I do online marketing, internet marketing. Ampleman 2001. I love that handle. How are you? Thank you for joining the show. I do online marketing and I also do network marketing. And I have a daily business scope, which is right now, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock Eastern, where I just talk about what I call the good, the bad, and the ugly about being a whatever you want to call these businesses, nanopreneur, solopreneur, freelancer, online entrepreneur, network marketer. My goal is to give you the information that you need to proceed. The information generally is either in your head or in your heart. It's not the details, it's not how you do it, because if you get the inside right, the outside actually does take care of itself. Having said that, sometimes in scopes I talk about nuts and bolts, like we had a great scope a couple of days ago, which was all about how to make money with Periscope. So now if you missed any of my scopes, you can go to my blog, internetmaverick.com, internetmaverick.com. And I have a complete list of all my scopes, so you can look at all my past stuff. It's also on YouTube. I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/LeeColeOnline. Facebook.com/LeeColeOnline. I've noticed since I've been doing these scopes that I'm getting a lot more people connecting with me on Facebook, and that's very, very cool. Connect with me and let me know how I can help you. Today's show. Also, swipe and share if you like the content. You can share it to your followers. You can share it to Twitter. You can share it to Facebook. If you're on an iPhone, swipe horizontally. If you're on an Android, swipe bottom to top. Hit the button share. That would be greatly appreciated. Doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. I can speak from the deep experience of doing internet marketing and network marketing, but it really doesn't matter what business you're in. You're going to have ups and downs, highs and lows. Some days, few and far between, when everything goes right. Other days when, some things are right and some things are, need improving. That's just life. And other times when the blank just hits the fan, right? And the if you're going to be an entrepreneur, okay, if you're going to make money in one of these methods, uh, have I got the Scope plugin for WordPress? Yes, Alan, I do have that. Um, I set it up. It worked. I 808 Ace, thank you for joining the show. I set it up. It worked. I actually have a different way of setting this up now that I learned later on, which is actually done through my phone, and which doesn't do everything that that plugin does, but it does what I want it to do. So the plugin's cool. I ended up myself with a little different solution to the problem. So yeah. Uh, so let's get on with the show. Again, you like the content, tap the screen like that and give me hearts because I'm trying to get my heart count up to 5,000. Thank you so much for all the follows. My followers have grown amazingly. I've only been doing scopes. Ooh, I love those hearts. I've only been doing scopes for about 4 weeks now. I started at the beginning of September. Here we are at the beginning of October. I was just looking at the growth of my average number of people on a given scope. Now it'll go up and down, but you see a general growing trend. I think when I first started, I'd have about 20 people average. Now I probably got about 80 to 100 people average. That's in 4 weeks. That's pretty cool. I do zero marketing for this except what you saw me at the beginning. Take that link from Twitter, put it in Facebook, put it in LinkedIn, and then have the show. So Periscope is an amazing tool for your business to get connected with people. So now the question is, when you have these ups and downs, when you have, whether your ups and downs in business are small or whether they're huge, it's just part of business. It is dealing, one of the reasons that people stay inside their comfort zone, i.e., don't step out and do cool things like quit their job and start an online business. And I'm not telling you to quit your job tomorrow, okay? And I'm not even telling you to quit your job. I had somebody ask me the other day, he said, Lee, can I talk to you? He's like a mid-range internet marketer. He said, Lee, can I talk to you? I just need somebody to talk to about this problem. And I said, yeah, sure. He said, well, I have a job that I really like. And I'm making money through internet marketing, and I don't want to quit my job. I said, well, that doesn't sound like you have a problem there. It sounds like you might be creating a problem where there isn't a problem. And so not everybody needs to quit their job, but some people want to. A lot of people, I think most people want to make more money. So however you slice that up, there's a bunch of things that prevent people from stepping out and trying things and bettering their lives financially, and it is all encompassed by the term your comfort zone. And this is going to sound silly, but what keeps you in your comfort zone, frankly, is the fact that it's comfortable. There's an old saying, the devil that you do know is better than the devil that you don't know. So maybe dealing with a little financial inadequacy, maybe dealing with the fact, oh heck, we're going to have to take the same old stupid family vacation this year instead of going on that cool trip that I've always wanted to go to this year. You know, maybe just living a life of what Henry David Thoreau called quiet desperation. That's the devil that you do know, that you do know. You're comfortable with that. It's like an old pair of shoes. They may not work that well, but gosh, they feel good when you put your feet on them, don't they? You know, they're all conformed to who you are. You know what to expect, and there's an odd sense of control with that. It's actually a false sense of control. I should do a series of shows about control and ego, by the way, but it's a false sense of control because you fundamentally can't control very much in your life except your reactions to life. But you know, people, they don't step out. They don't do anything new. They don't you know, they just dream about, you know, doing something cool, and then what happens is they die. No, no joke. And they die with, you know, and inside of themselves, I've watched this in my parents. They die, and inside of themselves, they kind of try to cover up this and say, well, I didn't want to do that anyway, right? I didn't want to do that anyway. You know, I decided I didn't want to live like that. I decided, you know, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to live a life of quiet desperation. I'm not going to just stay in my comfort zone. Jazzy, how are you? I'm not going to just stay in my comfort zone. If I fail, I fail, you know, but let's get it on. Let's live life, you know. Let's don't just walk around like some sort of stupid zombie. Now, sounds good. And I did that. I quit my job and jumped into the deep end of the pool 5 years ago, and lo and behold, it all worked out. I'm not suggesting that you just do that, by the way. But once you do that, there are a whole another group of stresses and issues that you have to deal with. And it's harder. No joke. Remember, I told you at the beginning of the show that I was going to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly about everything. It's not really the bad or the ugly. This is just the truth that people don't tell you about being self employed. And, you know, because people always say, like in sales letters and stuff, you know, quit your day job in 90 days, you know, you'll have freedom, you'll have all this stuff. Yeah, that's really true. You will have that. I have that. I live an enviable life. But the fact of the matter is, I also can have stresses that, quote unquote, normal non-online entrepreneurs, non-network marketers, you know, people don't depend on that money, you know, for, you know, paying the bills, putting the roof over the head, paying the utilities, paying for the car and all that stuff. I have stresses that people like that don't even know about. It's just a whole new world of stress. And if you're going to succeed, if you're going to stay in the game, all right, then you're going to have to develop ways of dealing emotionally with all of that, or else it's going to make you sick. Okay, I mean it's just going to keep you up at night. You won't be able to sleep, and it's going to destroy your health. It's going to destroy your relationships with other people. I mean, it will do that, right? The world of entrepreneurs is littered with people with, you know, screwed up health and screwed up relationships. So, how do you remain sane? The word sane actually comes from Latin, which means healthy. How do you remain sane and have that life that you wanted to anyway? You know, how do you do both? How do you do this in a healthy way? Well, one of the ways that I discovered of doing this is, oddly enough, by practicing gratitude. Now, I have, you know, I've heard about the power of gratitude from so many directions. Most recently from a book by a blogger, a guy who's a blogger, a serial entrepreneur, and a hedge fund manager. His name is James Altucher, Altucher, I think. Let's look up his blog and make sure that I tell you this right. James Altucher. Yes. That guy, James Altucher. Go to that blog, read that stuff. He's got great stuff. But he's got a book. He's got several books. But he's got one book that I read, I guess a couple of months ago, because I was reading it on my phone while I was working out at the gym. And it's called Choose Yourself, which is a beautiful title. Choose Yourself. You know, a lot of people are so conditioned through false thinking that the title even pisses them off. You know, choose myself. I'm not supposed to do that. Isn't that selfish? No, it's healthy. Choose yourself. But in the book, basically what he's talking about is he's talking about the ups and downs of, so James Altucher has gone through several iterations of having an idea, creating a business, selling it for a few $1,000,000, having plenty of dough, blowing all the money, being broke again, having a business, creating a business, selling it for a few $1,000,000, just like this wild, crazy swing of money. And because he goes through all this, he became very adept at dealing with, I'm not suggesting you go through that, by the way, but he became very adept at dealing with this emotionally. So one of the things that he would do to combat his stress and depression was practice gratitude. And that's not the first time I'd heard that, but it was the most recent time that I was forcibly reminded of that. And that gratitude is a very, very, very powerful, powerful medicine for you in your life. Um, it's very counterintuitive, especially in our culture, because when I first ran across the idea, I rejected it because it didn't make logical sense to me. I mean, if you're striving to create something, okay, if you're striving to have more with your life, you're striving to change your relationship with money, you're striving to have more money, you're striving to have a business as opposed to being an employee, you're fundamentally, it's like you're over here and you want to be over here. You're fundamentally moving from one place to another. And you're fundamentally, in some sense, you might feel like you're fundamentally rejecting what you have in order to get what, the thing that you want. In other words, I look at what I have and say, nah, I don't want that. In my head, I have what I want and say, yes, I want that. And that fits in with all of this positive thinking stuff, which I have, as usual, my own spin on. Vision boards and all these positive thinking affirmations and all this stuff that people talk about. And I'm not knocking that. I have my own spin on it, but I'm not knocking it. It's really easy to think, and it would be very, very logical to think that in order to, shouldn't I reject what I have in order to get the thing that I want? Let's just bring it down to brass tacks. Let's say I'm driving an old car, okay? So shouldn't I not really like my old car in order to work my way toward that brand new Mercedes that I want? Shouldn't I do that? Well, actually, you shouldn't, because actually it's going to be counterproductive. It's odd how it works, but if you will consider becoming very grateful for what you have and accepting of what you have, okay, now we're going to unpack that in a second. But if you can become grateful for what you have, very grateful, and very accepting of what you have, oddly enough, and I don't understand, I'm not a metaphysician, I'm not a theologian, I'm just a normal guy, but I know these things through practice. Oddly enough, what happens is your life opens up, your creativity opens up, synchronistic events happen to me, happen more frequently, the right people come into my life, the right opportunities come into my life, those all end up making me more money, and I move forward. So it's kind of like, instead of rejecting where I am to move forward, if I accept and feel great gratitude for where I am, that ends up propelling me forward. It's it's almost like a sort of a karmic reward. It's not, but it's almost kind of like that. And again, I don't fully understand it. I don't need to understand it. I practice it, and it doggone works. To the point that, when I get stressed out, yeah, I get stressed out. When I have things I want to change in my business, and I have things I want to change in my business. When I have recently went through a thing where, had some issues with a business partner that I had, and wanted, what was seeking a different dynamic there. It all ended up fixing itself, by the way, in a very beautiful way. But instead of rejecting that and moving forward to what I thought I wanted, I really thought of that problem by sitting around thinking about in gratitude how much I was grateful for that person and what that person had brought me in my business, and also in terms of just accepting where I was, accepting where I am today. That actually doesn't keep you stuck. You would think logically in our Western logical hierarchical two-valued logic brains, you would think, well, wait a minute, that's going to keep me stuck in what I have. If I get comfortable with what I have, Lee, I'm not going to want to go anywhere. Guess what? It don't work that way. Okay? If you get very comfortable, very accepting, very, if you have a lot of gratitude for where you are, you're going to get where you want to go, and specifically not where you want to go, not where your false ego wants you to go, but you're going to get specifically to a much more beautiful and better place where you should go, where you need to be going. You're like a flower unfolding. You're going to be getting there faster and with so much more ease than if you fight yourself along the path. So, what should we be grateful for? Well, okay, so you can wake up in the morning and you can be grateful for the weather, because if it's raining, then it's creating, it's giving abundant rain to create plants to make flowers, and maybe you like flowers. If it's sunny, you can be grateful that it's not raining, okay? If you're in pretty good health, you can be grateful for the health that you do have. If you're not in great health, then you can be grateful for the doctors that are helping you, In other words, no matter what your situation, you can choose to look at the positive. But now here's the big key. Here's the huge key, okay? This is worth writing down and thinking about. And this is going to, you might reject this when I say it, but it works for me. You need to be grateful for the stuff that you don't like, okay? So if you're in pretty good health, I am in remarkably good health, except I have a little problem with my endocrine system. My thyroid gland doesn't work. Other than that, I'm in great health. But that does bug me, and it gives, I have an issue with fatigue and things like that. And I've had it for years. It's no big deal. So I can choose to be very grateful for the fact that, my heart's in good condition. I get my annual physical. Doctor says I'm great and all this stuff. I can be very grateful for that. But what if I decide to be grateful for my thyroid problem? Because, see, that thyroid problem actually taught me a bunch of stuff. It taught me time management. Because, see, I don't have the hours in the day that somebody who's 100% healthy has. I can't burn, the midnight oil. I have to have a very, not strict, but I have to get a lot of sleep, basically. And why should I be grateful for that? Because it taught me how to be so much more productive with the time that I do have, which I would have never learned. What if you got other problems in your business? Let's say you got a business partner that's just not working out for you, okay? You might want to consider being grateful for him or her. Why? I don't know. I'm not you, but I can guarantee you that if you start accepting that and let go of that, then A, it's going to solve itself in a very elegant way, but B, you're going to start realizing that this has been a gift in your life. Financial difficulties, we all experience them. And so why should you be grateful that you're having financial difficulties? Well, guess what? If you were totally comfortable, I didn't say ungrateful for. I didn't say grateful. I said comfortable. If you were totally comfortable where you are financially, in other words, if you were not pushed by fear and pain, I'm not saying that's the best way to get motivated, but it does motivate you. If you weren't pushed by fear and pain, then you might not be working on developing an online business. You might not be working on developing a big downline in a network marketing company. In other words, you might just be sitting at home binge watching your next TV series on Netflix. And I'm not hating on binge watching TV series on Netflix. I actually do a little bit of that myself. But I'm saying if you're totally comfortable, then you might not be doing that. Okay? So you might look at, your pain and say, oh, I know why you're in my life now. You're in my life to push me. I don't want you in my life, and I'm going to have to change me in order to get you out of my life. But guess what? If you weren't here, I wouldn't be changing me. So that's just unpacking it some. That's how acceptance and gratitude works. It also works like this. You quit fighting yourself. If you accept 100% all your circumstances, 100%, okay, the whole thing. And I'm in my life. I got some pretty good circumstances. I got a great wife, great kids, got a business that I like. It does have some issues that I'm working through. All businesses do. But I got friends who are have circumstances that I don't have, and it might be hard for them to think about accepting that. Well, Lee, I don't want to accept that. If you will accept it, you're going to quit fighting yourself. You're going to quit spending so much energy, emotional energy, fighting yourself. And what's going to happen is that's going to open you up to more positive use of your energy. It's going to, you bet, Alan C., buddy. It's going to open you up to a lot more creativity. And oddly enough, now I can't prove this, and like if you're a hardline atheist, God bless you. You're missing out on a lot of life, frankly. But if you're a hardline atheist, and if all you count on is your five senses, and if it ain't in the science books, it doesn't exist, and all that stuff, you're going to have trouble with what I'm saying. You're going to have trouble with me. I still love you, but you're gonna have trouble with things that you cannot prove in a sort of two-valued logic way, or think that you can prove in a two-valued logic way. I hate to tell you this, but you can't prove all that stuff in a two-valued logic way that you think you can prove. If you want to have that conversation with me sometime, hit me up. Beware, though. I'm very good at stuff like that. But I'm just kidding. But anyway, so my point is, by accepting, you're not at war with the world, with reality. If you're not at war with reality, then you're working in harmony with reality. Reality, now this is the part where the atheists have issues. Reality is not just a bunch of, it's not just a giant statistical anomaly. I know atheists think that it's a giant statistical anomaly. They think I'm a giant statistical anomaly, okay? But reality is not just a giant statistical anomaly. It's intelligent, and it's benevolent. And when you quit being at war with the world that you live in, and with all planes of all the facets of your existence, other people, spiritually, even physically, with your own body, when you quit being at war, it's amazing how your life opens up. Gently, seemingly slowly, not on your time frame. But it's amazing how that life of yours is going to open up. And then you will be led into so much more than you could ever imagine on all planes of your existence, including financially. So that's how gratitude works. Gratitude and acceptance go together. And I would encourage you, what is today, Thursday? So we got one more scope today, and I'll think of something cool to talk about tomorrow. But I would encourage you today to practice gratitude. This is going to be hard, especially for the things that you desperately want to change. Especially for the things that you desperately want to change. Real talk. Issues with your health. Issues with your finances. issues with maybe grown children, issues with your spouse, issues with your parents. Um, it all boils down to an issue with yourself, frankly. But if you will accept those things, just, and how do you do that? You just sit there and just think about it and say, I accept you as you are. I accept that as it is. I'm hating every moment of this, but I'm accepting that as it is. If you will practice that, and you will practice being grateful for the struggles in your life, one more quick thing, I think this would encapsulate it. Um, I meditate at a Buddhist center near where I live. I'm a born again Christian, but I meditate at a Buddhist center near where I live. And in one class on meditation, the instructor was talking about how hard meditation is sometimes and all this stuff. And she said, you know, the obstacles are the path. The path and the obstacles are the same thing. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, that just explained a whole ton of stuff to me. That's kind of like what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that your path out of where you are is by dealing with the obstacles of where you are, but not fighting them, not rejecting them. It turns out that if you start to deal with them in love and acceptance and gratitude, that you will naturally, like water, you will naturally flow to the next place you're supposed to be in. Hope this helps you. This was kind of deep, and you may wonder what in the world this has to do with online business. Everything. It's got everything to do with you and what you're supposed to do with your life and the ease at which you are supposed to accomplish your destiny. It's got everything to do with that. And if that includes creating an online business, great. It's going to be a lot easier. If that includes getting in a network marketing company and creating a huge downline, great. It's now going to be a lot easier if you can do all of this. I'm at facebook.com/Lee Cole Online. I've been doing this stuff full time, making a full time living with online marketing and network marketing for 5 years now. And used to be a high school mathematics teacher. And I do these daily business scopes Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock, basically to talk about stuff. I'm sort of emptying my head. Okay, I've got massive experience doing this. Not here to sell you anything, just here to tell you the honest truth about what I think is a superior way to have a new relationship between time, life, and money. Thank you so much. I love you. I'm glad you're on the show. I'm glad you're here. And see you tomorrow. Follow me if you don't follow me already so you get all this great content. See you. Have a great day.